All right, let's see if I could do a whole podcast without messing up any words.
There's no way.
Do you think that's possible?
There's no way.
All right, let me wet my palate.
And this is where I'm going to jump in and tell you my off-the-wall crazy theory.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Theory Time with Pleeka. Yes, I did have to look over to make sure that's what it was called. We started a new extra podcast over here on Pleeka because it seems like every week, by the end of the week, we have more information on Westworld than we do when we do our Random Ramblings episode on it. So we want to do another one, and we just called it Theory Time with Pleeka, so then we could do random other theories. Maybe we could talk about, like, aliens or something one week. Who knows?
God, can I sit that one out?
No, yeah, I'll just be here by myself.
Yeah.
But all right, so the beginning of what we're going to do in the show every week is we're going to go over all of our old theories that we've talked about in our previous podcasts or whatever, and then at the end of the show we'll get into some new stuff. So right off the bat, I wrote this one first.
Okay.
I put the Arnold theory, which this is going to cover multiple Bernards, Arnold, any shit like that.
Okay.
So I'll let you start this off. Where do you want to start with Arnold?
I think I'm over the multiple Bernards.
I
know.
think that what that room is just all the old Bernards, because he was probably a very early host, you know, like Dolores.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are just like old ones.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
But I do think that leads into the old ones do lead into them taking that little red what people call a cupcake thing,
Yeah.
putting that into one of those hosts and then bringing Arnold back.
Is it weird when you said cupcake? I pictured velvet cupcake.
Well, that's what they look like, red velvet cupcakes.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it all leads to. I don't think there's actually legit multiple Bernards going around. I think we're seeing the end of the season or something with an Arnold, and we're seeing the flashbacks with a Bernard. Kind of like last year, we were seeing flashbacks with the Arnold, and you know what I mean? I think it's the reverse of that, but then they threw in that little teaser pic, or teaser in the trailer with that room, and it's like, oh, those are just all the old. She's going to walk in and be like, yeah, those are useless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, possibly. I also think.
But it could also only be because everybody is speculating about it. So like it could just be getting old to me. That's why I'm thinking that. So
It's funny how like we come up with a theory like the first episode, and then like
yeah, but then you're like, I don't know.
yeah, well, or like 2 weeks later you're like, yeah, that was stupid, and then a week later you're like, oh, see, I was right.
Yeah. Okay, the show makes you doubt yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Well, so what I'm thinking with the multiple Bernards is what if, because we saw that's the first thing I thought of last week. He walks by himself wearing a tie into the cave. He's like, oh, Elsie. I remember.
He could be remembering, like if he goes in the room and see, because Charlotte Hill's just looking at him, and he could be remembering every time he was put to get restored, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking. Like he's like,
because there's like
that's part of the thing is
there's
remembering.
Like, yeah, there's like 6 of them in that room.
Yeah, I don't
and there's like a soldier in the back or whatever. So it could be him remembering that, and that could also be a trick too.
That's what I'm thinking. But I mean, you know, who knows? But that's what I think is going on.
They definitely kind of teased us with that in this most recent episode.
Yeah.
So I do like that. Any other? There's nothing really else about Bernard theory-wise. I mean, and then I guess to add on to how I think it's Arnold, in the flashbacks he still has a scar, which I believe he got from shooting himself in the head because of Ford. And when we think it's Arnold in the future, he doesn't have the scar.
Now.
And then I also think, because I brought this up in our first bonus theory video that we did, that they shot it cinematically because I thought it was a flashback.
Yeah.
But now the more information we got, I think they did that specifically because it's the future. Because they had to have done that on purpose because they haven't done it since.
Yeah.
So I think it was because of the future.
Which is weird. So I thought it was Bernard originally, but I didn't think it was in the past. And now you think it's in the future, but you think it's Arnold. So we're completely
totally
switched.
Yeah. Although I thought it was Arnold both times though. I just switched past and future.
Yeah. And now I've switched people that look exactly alike. So that's
one doesn't have a scar.
Yeah, but I wasn't looking for that.
It's like a TV show when you get twins and one of them gets beat up the first episode.
Yeah.
It's like the deuce. I do want to mention I did text Hess if he wanted to add anything on the show, because you know Hess is that wild guy. He's got all these theories, and he texted me back. I got nothing new.
Well, and at the end of this podcast, we have a special theory for Hess.
Yeah, we have a special one for Hess. So.
Just for Hess. Now, wait, I do have one more thing to say about the Arnold theory. So we both separately on the same day came up with the idea that Arnold's at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, here's
which
what
I think I have a little more evidence for that when we get into the Reddit theories.
Okay, here's why I think that. I was thinking in my head, okay, why he steals the little velvet cupcake, Actually, it was just a ball at that point. So he steals the ball.
I think the ball goes into the Rebel Cupcakes
Yeah,
though, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So he steals the ball, and so I'm thinking, okay, now who's that ball for? Who would be able to? The only one who can make it like work, because apparently no one from Delos can, right?
Yeah, I feel
mean,
like
from what we've seen.
literally Ford is like it's Anthony Hopkins, so he can do whatever he wants. I feel like that's kind of how they run the show too.
Yeah, kind of.
He's like
He's just playing himself.
if he wants something, it's gonna get done.
Okay, so
And I can see him like going along with this. If he found out how to do it, and they're like, yeah, but we're trying to make John Delos, he'd be like, oh, I don't know how it works. And then secret, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
keeping it all to himself.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like that's who it would be for was Anthony Hopkins. But then I said, well, but I don't think Anthony Hopkins is gonna be like.
I don't see, especially because I feel like if they did this, they would have to find another way to get him off the show because he's not going to be a series regular in like series 3 and 4. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that would be weird.
So then I said, so then who's the next person that they would the ball be for? And I thought, Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
Seems he's a very good actor. He's in a ton of shit.
He's actually becoming one of my favorite characters in the show.
Yeah, me too.
And like last season, I didn't really like. I liked him last season. Don't get me wrong, but this season, I'm like, wow, he's a really good actor. Like I really like him.
I think it's because I showed you that scene from Shaft.
That might have. He also a little clip right there for people.
This is Egyptian cotton, motherfucker. 223. This is like half you shitty at paycheck, okay?
But yeah, he's definitely growing as one of my favorite characters.
So and when I was like, okay, so if it's him, how would that work? And I was like, wait a second, there's that whole thing with the scar that's him at the end. It could be Arnold. He could do this, and that's how I came up with it. Like my first guess.
That's actually kind of the same stuff. The way I was thinking. I was like, it'd be Ford, but Anthony Hopkins is coming back. You got to think realistically with this,
right?
And then I was like, it really only makes sense to me to bring back Arnold. Especially with all this, there are multiple Bernards. Every fucking scene, it's a different Bernard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that totally makes sense to me, that it's Arnold.
Okay. So and that's weird that we didn't talk about it until we're like, hey, I got an idea.
And
then we're like,
should we?
Just
because I don't want to split it apart for people, I'm going to bring up a little bit of the Reddit. So someone took some screenshots of an HBO teaser that they had up, like a behind-the-scenes thing, and then they shortly after took down. And there's one part in it that I will throw up on the screen for people to see, but it's Bernard and Dolores together, but Bernard is in his purple shirt, kind of like the little figure I have down here. So he's basically dressed up as Arnold, and Dolores is in the same outfit she is there when she killed Arnold. So either they refilmed that scene, or they're just showing stuff from season 1, or it's Dolores and Arnold back on the show, like that.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that totally has to be the case, because all the other behind-the-scenes stuff, it shows like bunch of stuff from looks like to be the finale or something. Very close to that.
Yeah, I mean, they could have filmed more stuff leading up to him getting shot and stuff.
Yeah, and like they're showing us more.
Yeah.
But it definitely shows that at least we're probably going to see more Arnold this season,
sure.
which I feel like if they're going to show us more Arnold, it's going to tie into that.
Yeah.
But so we're moving on. This was going to be a very short one, I believe. Is Ford dead / did he become the music? This was mostly Hess with this.
Yeah.
I don't think he became the music. I think people that think that are taking him way too literally from last season when he literally says, I'm going to become the music.
He said that Mozart, Beethoven, and Chopin never died. They simply became music.
Yeah.
But I do believe that in some sort of way, depending on how you think people are alive or not, Ford's alive. Like, maybe not, it might not be Anthony Hopkins we ever see again. But I feel like if he's like he maybe put himself on a host, or because he's talking to William still. So like, do you consider that alive since he has these messages that he's still leaving? For him? You know. Well, because remember what Ghost Nation said. You're alive until the last person that remembers you. So you know what I mean. So if in some sort of way, I think he's still alive.
Does that mean Groucho Marx is still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really all I have to say
George
about
Washington's still alive.
Oh my God! Again, everybody's still alive.
Yeah, that was my point.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Ford's dead, but I think Anthony Hopkins is dead, but I think the character Ford might be still doing some shit. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. Like, and he was talking about Chopin and Beethoven, and yeah, they became music.
Yeah, and now they're remembered, and they're still technically alive because people listen to it and constantly do that.
Which, yeah, like, I mean, in that aspect, he's still tinkering with stuff. His fingerprints are still on stuff, but he's dead.
Yeah. All right, so that's really it for Ford, you think?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to this one, not one of us believe here, which I wish we did have Hess here because he believes this, even though he doesn't bring up evidence for it. William / the Man in Black being a host. I think logistically this couldn't have happened unless the guy we saw going to talk to John Delos was a host.
Yeah.
That's the only way. A lot of people online after last week's episode are like, oh, he's a host. There's literally people on Reddit zooming into his eyebrows like, oh, in one shot his eyebrows are groomed, but then when they switch to this next scene, his eyebrows are messy, which shows that there's two different, like, I was like...
His eyebrows?
Yeah, and people are commenting like, dude, just, if you're zooming in that much, you're missing the bigger picture here.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I don't think there's
I don't think he is either, especially for all the... I feel like it would make last season really dumb with all we saw of him, like...
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird. And I saw people saying, well, what if his wife, he's been a host for a while, Ford created him as a host, and then his wife found out that's why she killed herself.
I heard a theory that flashback that we saw with his wife is actually a flashback of him.
Yeah, I've read that too, of him killing himself, and then he became a host after.
Yeah, and then he...
Which I feel like that would maybe be if that happened, I would maybe be okay with that one, because I'd be like, oh, that has some like weight to it and show stuff. But I still don't think I would enjoy it as well.
The only person in season 1 who didn't give a flying fuck at all about hosts was Logan in the beginning.
Yeah.
And Man in Black.
Yeah.
And he gave less of a fucking shit than Logan did. Then now in season 2, we see him try to bring back John Delos 149 times. And he sees that he can't do it correctly. You could tell that, like, especially that second time Jimmy Simpson is there, he's just like, man, this is pathetic.
Yeah.
Someone who's gone through that 149
Especially, you can tell by the end of it, because he just goes off on him.
Yeah.
Your wife's dead, your son, your wife's dead at this point, your daughter killed herself, your son OD'd, all this stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I took your company.
He's just over it.
And
I'm going to go into Westworld, all the hosts are going to take over.
Yeah, and someone who's witnessed all that, I don't think, hey, I got an idea, I'm going to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because,
like, if he's a host, it's not of his will. Like,
for sure.
Someone else, there's a big theory that he was the body that Ford was making at the end of last season, because we still haven't fully seen that.
Right.
I still think, to me, this makes sense, going back to our first thing. If Ford's making a secret body, and then Ford's sending his little minion to go get Red Velvet Cupcake, he's going to put it inside the host he's making, which is probably Bernard. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, or Arnold, you mean?
Yeah, whatever. Same thing, basically.
Yeah, but,
But I feel like, I just don't see any way this happening, especially because from all the information we've gotten, like, we see that little iPad when the dude was going to turn it off, and it says he's 14 days past his expiration date, or when Elsie was going to do it.
When she
14 days past it, yeah. And I just don't think, like, logistically it fits in the story. It'd be a stretch to me.
It's a big stretch to me, too.
All right, so we'll just move on from that. This one, also from our boy Hess, and then we got a comment. I think the guy's name was Matty Shirk or something like that. Elsie is in charge of Ghost Nation. She's alive, in charge of Ghost Nation, and they're saving humans. Yeah.
They did so.
So here, let's cut to a clip of Elsie.
Are you fucking kidding me? Stay the hell away from me.
Was she with Ghost Nation?
No. So, Ghost Nation is saving humans, which there was kind of... Now, there was...
Yeah, they were right on different aspects a little bit.
And she's alive.
Maybe he accidentally mixed his theories.
Maybe, yeah.
His brain was going too fast. He's Elsie alive, you couldn't control Ghost Nation.
No, yeah, and it's funny that, Elsie being back alive is cool. She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I loved her last season.
I just anything's gonna come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, brings a little comedy to it.
She's kind of like to Doctor Who and like a lot of other shows, like the companion. Like she's like the us, like the audience of the show.
Yeah.
Especially because she's there and she's talking to him, and then he's because Ford's still in control. He's like, Ford's dead. Like I completely forgot that she wouldn't know Ford's dead, and like she asks the questions that a lot of us wondering and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then he lies to her and says he won't lie anymore.
That's true.
Literally, you can't hurt me and you can't lie to me. And then a second later, he remembers killing everybody.
And then lies to her. So he'll probably hurt her next episode.
And he's like, hey, I'm good. I'm fine.
But yeah, obviously that didn't happen. So then Charlotte...
X through that one.
Yeah, this is one that I brought up before that I kind of... Even though we haven't seen her since, I'm kind of falling off the wagon of this. Charlotte Hale being a host, and then some people believe that she is Charlie, Bernard's son. I almost said daughter. And then I've also heard some theories that Maeve is Bernard's or Arnold's wife turned into a host, and that's why she wants her daughters because... they lost their son and all that.
Well, and
But I
I've
feel-
also heard that Charlotte could be Maeve's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are all mixed. I feel like they're just mixing all this because they're the only black characters on the show.
No, yeah,
And, like,
that's-
they're going with their stories.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think any of that's gonna happen whatsoever.
No, and
The only thing the only thing that this has going for it, and it's just because she found extra clothes, probably in the Bernard closet of hosts, is that Charlotte kind of dresses like Bernard a little bit. You know?
you mean that yellow dress?
Well, yeah, he walks. That'd be awesome. He's next episode just walking on a yellow dress.
That'd be so cool.
But like she's got the little vest and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean that's a stretch. I
Yeah.
mean, okay, so I mean they both. Everyone's wearing cowboy stuff, so everybody dresses like a little bit,
Yeah.
and then they're both black, so
Yeah, I feel like that's the only if that's the only link people have about that is.
it's weird because she.
Which I mean, obviously, if she wasn't black, you couldn't link them as the fucking host
like if
daughter
she's
and
his
all that,
if
but-
she's his daughter, like why wouldn't she be like, hey Dad, you're fired?
Well, and also like, what would be the point of that? Of her being his daughter or his son, however you want to put it.
Yeah,
I feel like the story wise, there's nothing to go off that really.
no, not really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it just doesn't. It's weird because now if they were like, "Hey, my daughter died," and then like,
Yeah, but the fact that it was a son and
Yeah.
all stuff, I feel like and it hasn't even got brought up this season at all. Usually they try to like hint at
And-
you a little bit.
and like Bernard works for Anthony Hopkins. Not, I mean, I know
They're all technically work for Delos,
but it's not Delos.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's like, so why? I don't know. It's just it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
yeah, to me it's just like William being a host doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So this next one, this is completely my fault. We saw a picture from an alternate Super Bowl ad, and it looked like the Man in Black looking at himself, but really it was the Man in Black looking at John Delos.
Yeah.
So we had a whole theory about that. That went into him being a host, but that was my fault. So then this is also from Hess brings up a lot of theories on here.
Does it?
Delos is making every one of their employees a host. This was obviously debunked in the last episode because they can't even make the head of their company a host. So how are they going to secretly make their employees hosts?
Right. Well, and
Like maybe that's like, oh, if we can do this, then we could do that. Like maybe that's their ultimate plan,
yeah.
but it's not happening anytime soon
So
unless they found like Ford's journal.
yeah, that's why they want Abernathy so bad because he has.
Yeah, he probably is the key to doing that.
Yeah. So,
So
it,
do you think in Abernathy is John Delos, or do you think it's just
I think
it's just like the
I think it's
just the code
the
to
basic
get it?
code. I don't think John Delos is in him
Because everybody thinks it's him because he looks a lot like the actor that plays John Delos.
yeah.
But after seeing those pictures of John Delos in the park, I feel like why would they wouldn't make sense to put him in Abernathy, really.
yeah, no, I think
I did like that theory though of him being in Abernathy and because he saw the picture of his daughter. That was a real cool theory,
yeah.
but I don't think that's ever gonna have any other weight to it.
I mean, it could I wouldn't shoot that 100% down
Mhm.
because I don't know how that code works.
Yeah.
But the one thing is too is John Delos? He's not really a host.
Yeah, he's more of a clone.
Yeah, so like I don't know if Delos can build, hosts or not.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna. They certainly can't build a clone with consciousness because
Yeah.
they've proved that no one can yet.
I guess that's true. They could potentially have hosts working for them,
yeah.
but they can't be doing this DNA cloning shit that everybody's been speculating about.
No.
But so that's it for all of our old theories. So do you want to bring up your Hest one? Here, you sent it to me, so should I read it?
Yeah, sure. This is stupid, but I think Hess would get a kick out of it.
Yeah. So do you want to set it up why Hest would get a kick out of it?
Well, as he says at the beginning of one of our podcasts, he loves elephants. It's his favorite animal.
So then Nick sent me this today. He said, this is 100% Hest. He found this on Reddit. I think the weapon is quite simple, or quite simply, are elephants. It's obvious that the hosts can be more intelligent than humans. Also, they have they have much more strength. Clem dragging Bernard with ease, Bernard one-punching Teresa. Just imagine an intelligence maxed out elephant, not feeling any pain and only dying from shots to the head. They are like tanks, unstoppable, or at least land troops. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah, I mean, PETA got mad at them for using them in the one episode, so I doubt they're going to use them anytime soon. But, yeah, I don't think William built a place so elephants can walk through Westworld. Why would that be his biggest mistake?
You know what's funny? Is as you're reading that, I'm picturing like elephants running through and with like fucking guns mounted on them.
It just reminds me of like something out of Far Cry.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like,
Far Cry Primal.
I
except for
honestly-
there was mammoths,
sometimes on Reddit, I really can't tell people that have theories like that if they're joking
or if they're serious.
or if that's 100% in serious. Because you have
No.
people like Hess that's like, yo, dude, I think Fort's music. I think it's a piano.
yeah,
And then you have like elephants are gonna be the ultimate big bad of the season. Like that's a way big stretch.
it's hard. It's like getting a text. You don't know the you don't know.
Yeah,
their
you can't
context.
you can't see if the person's like smiling while they wrote it.
Yeah.
So I put this one down. I know you're gonna think this one's annoying.
Oh God.
It's called "Is Old Bill William?"
What?
So Old Bill, seen only in 2 episodes in season 1, can be seen drinking with Ford. Ford notes to Bernard that Old Bill was the second host they ever built, and asks Bernard if he was with him in those days. I see so many similarities to Old Bill and William. I am wondering if Old Bill is one of many possibility host versions of William. Is William just the most important host and most elaborate backstory, and has many different clone/versions of himself, like all the Bernards we've seen? I'm not sure if this has been discussed before, but what do you guys think?
Wow.
So that guy is legit serious. He thinks Old Bill from season 1
that
is
guy,
William.
Let's drink to the lady in the white shoes. That guy?
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought of that.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody did except for this one dude on Reddit.
Where do you?
Like, I don't know.
It looks nothing like him. I guess technically they both have cowboy hats and like hair,
And they're
kinda.
maybe they have
They're both in the show.
their names are very similar.
Yeah, that's.
I saw that one. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm not bringing that up on the podcast. I was
God.
actually a little disappointed in some Reddit theories. Like, there wasn't a lot of great ones this week. I think it's because the episode was so good. Like, it kind of gave us more information than questions again.
Yeah, it gave us a lot more information than it has all year.
So
Well,
now,
first 4 episodes.
now
anyways.
jumping back into what I brought up earlier about how there's some pictures from the HBO teaser that they deleted.
Mhm.
So it shows here there's something you can see, like there's a water hose and Bernard standing and all that. So it looks like they're preparing for that scene with all the hosts floating in there, right?
Oh yeah.
And then this is like an overshot of them like from behind them doing it. But look, so there's like a crater from like an explosion or something there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. I don't really know what that was all leading to because we've seen that scene.
Yeah.
But then also you can see right here, it's John Delos shooting a gun. Here's a better picture of him. And he has a bunch of hostages, looks like, on the ground. So is that going to be a flashback, you think? Or is that going to be him, like there's a working him somewhere? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be a flashback.
I feel like it's going to be a flashback too, and then he could potentially meet Arnold or something. Because they have this Arnold and Dolores thing. Looks like the same town, you know?
Well, because remember you said when we were watching, well, they're not gonna. Jimmy Simpson probably won't be in it anymore because we lead it up.
Yeah,
to
it's wondering about that.
But that could be he could go when they were there when they took that helicopter there and then.
Yeah, that's going to really confuse some people. Like, well, you just died last week. You know what I mean? Like, people.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is this season, but, like, the timelines are just fucking with people.
It is funny how that works. Like.
And it must just be because me and you watch so much weird shit like this, with like time travel and
Yeah, but
random
I
stuff.
I don't watch that much.
But it could
Not
also,
compared to you.
I guess, yeah. I don't get how some people. I feel like you're just not paying attention. But that could just be being very like,
Yeah, I mean, probably half the people are on their phone when they're watching it.
yeah. But that's really all the information I got this week. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
No, I mean, I wanted to go over our own theories. I mean, so basically, the first couple of theories that we had, like none of those, except the Men in Black being a host from Hess. That's the first one. That's still technically alive.
Yeah.
The problem with
and
that-
the Bernard Arnold stuff is still there. a
Yeah,
little
but
bit.
we never, none of us thought that Arnold was. I mean,
It-
that was
that
last
one's alternated a little
week.
bit.
Yeah. Like no one thought that was Arnold at the end in the first episode. Yeah, like we just.
Oh,
figured-
at the end, yeah. no, none
we
of us
just
did.
figured that out.
I was like, oh fuck.
Well, I mean, we think we figured that out last week.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny how, you know, you got the Ghost Nation, you got, like, elephants on the rampage and all the... I mean, I don't know, like, next week we might think that they might show us something. The thing about William being a host is, until... They're not going to show us that he's not a host
Yeah.
until they show us he's a host. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're gonna keep. I mean, last year we had no idea Bernard was a host except for Hesse, because I swear to God, if the Man in Black becomes a host, either Hess is like he has like the best intuition ever, like he can sense things. He must be a Jedi or something, or he's just the luckiest motherfucker on the planet. Because literally the first or second episode last year, he was like, I don't know why, guys, but I think Bernard's the host, and we're like, you're fucking stupid. Why would he be? He's having sex with Teresa, like just doing all this stuff. Like, what? Why would he? What?
You're like, he's robotic.
And then literally this year, we're like.
He didn't cuddle with Teresa.
He's like, I think William / Man in Black's the host. And we're like, why? He's like, well, he got a new hat. It's the same thing. He didn't cuddle. He got a new hat. And then somehow he's right. I don't get it. So I'm really, I feel like I'm like you last year. I'm just hoping he's not right in this.
That was the most disappointing thing in the show is when they revealed Bernard.
And it was only disappointing because it was one of the coolest moments in the show. And then you're like, motherfucker, Hess is right.
Yeah, totally.
He ruined that scene.
I was like, no, like it would, yeah.
I was like when he came over, he was all like, "I was right."
Yeah, and then if I was him, I would have bragged more.
Yeah, I'd
because I mean he's been wrong a lot more.
Everything I'd be like, well, remember I called Bernard being a host.
Like we have no problem pointing out when he's wrong.
Yeah,
So but.
Are you excited for next week's Shogun World? It looks, at least from the trailer, it looks like most of the episodes in Shogun World. And from what I've heard, a lot of it's going to be like subtitles and shit, which would be
I heard it's going to be in Japanese.
A little scary for me.
So Japanese with flashbacks. No, there won't be as many.
Can you okay? For people getting confused, now there's going to be a whole episode in Japanese, and possibly flashbacks, with like future scenes, like all because they're not going to just show Maeve. They have to show other shit, right? They usually show Maeve and Dolores at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say they didn't show Dolores or Maeve last week. So.
But I feel like that trailer was totally just to tee up, like, oh my, holy shit, we're finally going to Shogun. We've been teasing you this since the fucking finale.
I'm excited for the story to move on, but I'm not excited.
I'm looking forward to it just because it's a new world and I want to see like how it is.
It's what it reminds me.
And plus that guy from Arrow's in it, so I'm like, oh, it's a connection to Arrow.
This is a stretch, but you know what Shogun World reminds me of?
What?
Shooter.
A shooter?
Yeah.
Why?
So what's the movie called?
Oh, because you said it in that book. He ends up becoming a samurai in one of the other books.
Shooter. The book is called Point of Impact. One of the like the 100th time I watched Shooter, I was like, oh, there's a book. I'm gonna read it. And then I read like 6 or 8 of them, and I even read one about his dad, and he's got like a step brother, a half brother that was in prison, which is one of the weirdest books. But then
is his name like Knifer?
He's like a white powder. I don't remember his name, but that was weird because it didn't link up until like later on in like book 5 or 3. I don't remember, but I love the books. They're cool. It's all like Shooter, where he like gets in a situation and he has to.
And you always picture Mark Wahlberg.
Oh yeah, totally. Even his dad, I kind of picture just like an older Mark Wahlberg. So, and then one of them, I forget what it's called, whatever. But then he goes to Japan, becomes a samurai, and I was like, what? Like the whole book, and then like at the end, he has instead of like him like outsmarting someone and like killing the bad guy. Well, he kills the bad guy, but he fought him with samurai swords, and I was like,
this is weird. See, I
quit reading the books.
Like
I I couldn't take it. And I'm like, no, this is dumb.
I don't remember when I brought this up. I think it was in our Deadpool podcast. I really like sword fighting and not with my penis.
I don't believe that.
So I'm looking forward to see that. But like we also brought up is like they just have guns, so they could be like, what? And then you just get fucking shot.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting how that goes. But all right, so I think this is the end of the first episode of Theory Time with Pleeka. We'll be back next week. We don't really have a set date for this. Really, it kind of depends on Nick's schedule.
And if we have theories.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't go over old theories every time.
Yeah, we might not do this every week, but at least once every other week. We're still figuring out, but we definitely wanted to do it and get it up and going.
And we wanted Elephant Man, Hess to help us.
Yeah, but he didn't have any theories, so he just
no theories, and he couldn't do it today, or he couldn't do it tomorrow, and I couldn't do it today. Wait, what? Something like that.
But yeah, so if you liked us and you want to check out our thoughts on episodes of Westworld, we put out our podcast on Westworld every Monday. That's not right. We film it Monday. We put it out every Tuesday. So we'll see you guys then.
Let's see if I can do a whole podcast without messing up any words.